而即将接掌国安会的驻美代表金溥聪今天返台结束驻美代表的职务。面对目前立法院的学生抗议事件，金溥聪多次是以违法暴力行为来形容学生的抗争。他表示，民主国家不会容忍任何的暴力手段。至于是否支持立院清场，金溥聪表示，这部分属于国会权力的范围。
好，谢谢大家。
So on the night of March 21st, 2014, I flew back from New York, JFK, to Taoyuan, and it turns out that Jin Po-chong was on my flight. A few days earlier, I had seen the news that students had occupied the legislative yuan to protest the cross-strait trade agreement, and I assumed that Jin Po-chong was returning to Taiwan because he had to deal with this issue or something.
少数人的高音量不一定能够代表或反映所有沉默大多数的意见。这是一个民主的社会，我们都有不同的意见，但是我们要用和平理性的方式来解决大家的歧见。
So the next day, I went to the legislative yuan and I went up to the front door here, and some students wouldn't let me in. And I was like, "Are you a cop? Do you have any right to tell me not to go inside there?" But they were like, "No, you can't go in." And I also saw Xiao Meiqing inside with this smirk on her face. So I was like, oh, I knew you guys were behind this. So the first thing I noticed about the situation is that there were cops around, but they weren't doing anything to take care of the illegal occupation. So it didn't take me long to realize that the police were really there to protect the protesters, and they weren't there to protect the legislative yuan. So I start talking to some of the young people there, and I asked one of them, aren't these people afraid of not being able to get a job one day because they're doing something illegal? They'll have something on their record. But she was like, oh no, it's okay. Of course, little did I know that all these people would be pardoned one day once Taiwan came to power in 2016. Basically, none of them have anything on their record despite doing something totally illegal. In case you're wondering, this is the biandan or lunchbox that I got, probably supplied by the DPP party. It wasn't that tasty, but I ate it, so thank you. Since I started observing Taiwan politics in March 2004, I knew that this was the most significant event in terms of cross-strait relations. I knew that this move and the aftermath of it could eventually lead Taiwan and mainland China into a war one day. So around midnight on March 23rd, I see that people have charged into the executive yuan, and I know that something very, very strange is going on in Taiwan. I head over there around 1:30 a.m. and I see a bunch of police lining up to head into the executive yuan. Something like this could not be done without orders from above. So I call one of my sources asking what the heck is going on, and he said he'll look into it. What went on at the executive yuan seemed like a much more aggressive move than the legislative yuan. At the legislative yuan, they had Wang Jinping's support, which was clear. However, at the executive yuan, they didn't have such support, and going in there would definitely cause the police to get them out. I'd say that there was about 1,000 police inside the executive yuan that night. All the media was there, too. And the front doors were broken down. So when I got in there, most people were already in there. I wouldn't say that all of the people in there were young people. There were people of all age groups inside. I do remember seeing one person from the Taiwan Solidarity Union there. It was said later on that it was the TSU that wanted to go into the executive yuan. So here's the sign, 退回服贸. Okay, so here's them sitting in. Here's the building where the doors were broken into. You can't see the doors here, but they're actually broken down where the police are standing. And here's the flag hung upside down.
看来警察们要理我们哦。但是大家稍安勿躁，我们不要被这种行为激怒，好不好？不要被这种行为激怒，不要被这种行为激怒。我们都有请司改会跟法服的朋友来帮助我们。来，我们都有请司改会跟法服人士帮助我们，所以我们现在稍安勿躁。他不可能把我们每个人都抓走，大家是不是？他不可能把每个人都抓走，大家是不是？我们今天在这边用我们方式抗争，我们才是站在正确一方，大家是不是？来，跟我一起口号：捍卫民主，捍卫民主，捍卫自由，捍卫自由，捍卫民主，捍卫民主，捍卫自由，捍卫自由，警察带头，警察带头，保护人民，保护人民，警察带头，警察带头，放出我们的人，放出我们的人。
So I moved up towards the front. As the building wraps around, I would say that this area was the main point of conflict. Things got extremely violent. I was standing on the side with other reporters. However, I wasn't completely safe. There were several times where I nearly got hit by the police and the protesters. Looking back on this was definitely the most physically dangerous thing I ever did in Taiwan. Frank Shea Changting was the only DPP figure that stayed with the protesters and actually faced the water cannons later on. A bunch of other DPP figures, including Su Zhencheng, Liu Shiquan, and Taiwan, showed up, but they just kind of came and went. So there's Su Zhencheng, Liu Shiquan, and there is Taiwan right there. At around this time, this is when the police started pushing and hitting the protesters. None of the DPP figures who had just walked through stayed around for this part. I only saw Frank Shea later on. It's always been my position that the DPP used these young people to achieve their political goals. So this is where what I call the sandwich maneuver was used on the protesters.
有从后面有人，干，从后面打进去，来，我操，我操，感觉绝对会死人的啦，干，干， 水龙不是没水？对啊，他们盖。够，分一半啊，我们不分一半。那个催泪瓦斯来了，就把剪刀丢进去。催泪瓦斯。
脱手的姿势，如果不想留下来。
So as you can see here, the water cannons were brought out. I don't have a picture or video, but I do remember Frank Shea getting hit by the water cannon and getting kind of messed up. So he definitely earned my respect that night. Definitely more so than the other DPP figures who were basically using the incident as a way to promote themselves. So finally the place was cleared and I went outside and the protests continued outside on the streets. And I just remember seeing that the student leaders were very self-righteous about what they were doing, especially this girl right here. I remember basically the character of the whole movement was very, very self-righteous. It was not an open-minded discussion over what the trade agreement really was about, or if there was any room for negotiation, what was right or what was wrong about it. It was basically just we're right and they're wrong, and it was a very uncomfortable protest movement in my opinion. Later on, I had breakfast at McDonald's with someone that was at this protest, and I just remember being very just shell-shocked by the whole incident. The violence just kind of got to me. I felt like I had been in a war zone.
各位在外面的人，可能也没有经历过喷水，以为喷水就只是凉凉的，那个是高压的水柱，极度的危险，可以强烈到让一个人内脏在那个水柱的喷之下破裂，那是有多大的危险？ 警棍打下去，打到身体，也许内伤，打到头，头破血流。
So morning came and I left. This is my first video on the sunflower movement, to be continued.